Okay, this is a mock interview to do with my personal position on teaching and learning.
Okay, so Jake, I'm going to ask you some questions. What characteristics and dispositions do you bring to teaching?
Well, as far as my own experience and dispositions, my experience at school, high school, probably wasn't a really stimulating learning environment, and I felt like a lot of teachers and students didn't really want to be there, and it wasn't that motivating, and I thought it was an overly structured and restrictive environment, so it wasn't very conducive to learning. And with my own personal characteristics, I think I'm pretty adventurous and inquisitive type of learner, so I think as a teacher I would try and provide experiential opportunities for experiential learning experiences for students.
Great. What's your personal teaching philosophy?
Teaching I see more as not just someone who imparts knowledge and sees students as empty vessels to fill up, but more as someone who facilitates a good lesson that engages students, meets all students' needs, and and provides a good role model, and is motivating for students.
Sounds great. What's your personal philosophy to learning?
To learn, I think all students have ability to learn in their own unique ways, and I think it's up to the teacher to try and tune into all students' needs and provide that. And I think learning's cumulative and happens over your life, so everyone's at different stages of learning and everyone's got their own unique styles, so I think it's good to provide some scaffolding as a teacher, but I think students need to work their way through and develop their own style as learners.
What gaps do you feel that you have in preparing to become a teacher?
As far as gaps, I think a standout one would be to do with behaviour management, and particularly when students, when you set a task and they just decline to do it, they just don't want to do it. And I find that particularly challenging because I've worked in the health field one-on-one with adults for a long time, and if they weren't interested in something, you just leave it there and have no further appointments. But with students and with kids, I think as a teacher you've got an expectation from parents and teachers to engage students in their learning and get them learning even if they're saying they don't want to. So the hard thing for me is it goes against my relaxed approach, and I need to learn how to engage them.
So how do you plan to address these gaps?
On my pracs, I think I'll go into more detail with addressing these gaps, or that gap in particular, because I'll have more experience observing teachers and get the experience myself. And so I think that's the main thing, getting more and more experience and analysing it and making a plan and having strategies, rather than just overpowering students verbally or physically. I don't think that's the way to do it. I think you need to have strategies and be constructive and not overpower students, but also try and show them that it's a useful thing to do, and this is why, this is where it's taking you, this is where you come from, this is where you're going, and also have some sort of a reward system. But also every student's going to be unique with their behaviour management, so I don't think it's one size fits all. So I think it's learning a range of strategies, observing a range of teachers in different settings, and taking the bits from that that'll work for me.
Excellent. Thanks, Jake.